Good morning, everyone. Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, Stanley.
Morning, everyone.
Okay, I think we can start now. I think everyone that has been invited is already logged in. I know there are people who will be joining a little bit later because they now have been asked to join other agent meetings. A warm welcome to everyone. Thank you very much, colleagues, for attending this workshop this morning. A special welcome to our facilitator, Stanley Bongwe, who some of you have also met in the past because he was here in 2017. It took us through the same workshop. Obviously, now there are changes because obviously things have changed, and we are in another sphere today. So I will hand over to Mr. Stanley Bongwe to take us through the workshop. He has also mentioned that at around about 10:15, we will have a 15 minutes break. And then we'll resume again because this is going to be a 3-hour workshop. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kuku. And a very good and special welcome and very good morning to all of you. And I am exceedingly delighted to be here to speak to you this morning. I'm delighted to share this moment with you because I actually, when I start reflecting, when I do the work that I do, I would always find myself stopping and thinking, but mostly wishing that I wish I had somebody who could have spoken to me like I'm going to speak to you this morning when I was getting started with my own career, because that would have actually resulted in me becoming even much more successful quicker. I have my own little regrets, but I do appreciate the fact that whenever I do this work, it reinforces some of the principles in terms of leadership and the principles in terms of work behavior, and also reviewing my own philosophical underpinnings about other people at work and how to get to be more successful in the workplace. I would like to hope that it's early in the year. I would like to hope that most of us, or all of us, will have a better year than the last two, especially for those amongst us who found that the last 2 years to be extremely challenging, especially also in terms of business. As the leadership of the business, you know how challenging it has been in terms of the restrictions on our business activities over the last 2 years. But by way of introductions, for those amongst us who have not heard me speak before, who have not interacted with me before, the name is Stanley Bongwe, and I'm the founder of the Diversity Institute, an institute that I founded over 26 years ago to specialize in diversity management solutions for business organizations, but also to specialize in winning work behaviors, preempting and answering the question, what makes some people more successful than others, when at face value you can tell that these individuals have actually had been exposed to fair access to the same opportunities. But some of them, you may discover that when you look at their credentials on paper and also their professional credentials, you will find that they appear on paper and also in terms of experience to be far more decorated than their counterparts, only to find that their counterparts who are less decorated than they are tend to be far more successful. So I founded the Diversity Institute, but prior to that, my professional background spanned over 8 years, to be precise, 8.5 years in chemicals production, where I was working for Sasol, the petrochemical company, making chemicals with them. And then after those 8.5 years with Sasol, I then had fallen in love with the people side of the business success equation. I dropped chemicals, went to school on a full-time basis, on a different scholarship this time, on an academic scholarship, where I ended up in the state of Massachusetts in the United States, where I ended up finishing a Master of Science degree in Industrial and Organizational Psychology, which is the study of human behavior in the workplace. Came back in the country and founded the Diversity Institute in 1995. But I'm delighted this morning that you and I have got this opportunity where I will share with you what I have learned. And some of that which I had learned, I've documented in 2 books. The first book that some of you are very familiar with is, the title is 100 Lessons in Diversity, with the subtitle, Learning About Yourself and Others. And the book that is the primary topic for today, my second book, is called Winning and Winners at Work, and with the subtitle, Including Losers' Habits. Now, I am delighted to be here because when I look at the opportunity that we have this particular morning, we have an opportunity. This is an opportunity that has been created by your own organizations, your own organization. I spent the month of November and part of the month of December last year at your Chlorcorp operation with some of your leadership and some of you and all your staff over there. And they found the session very meaningful. And I would want to hope and believe that you will find the session very enlightening and very useful and very practical in terms of your own professional improvement, professional effectiveness, but also in your leadership responsibilities, leading these particular organizations and your particular units. Now, I call this session particularly an opportunity because it is an opportunity. And when you get an opportunity, you need to be able to utilize that particular opportunity. And I believe and hope and pray that you will do the same, like your colleagues had done and are doing at the moment, and all these multitudes of other people that I've been working with in these many different organizations that I've been working with and I've been assisting. Now, because the reality with an opportunity when it gets presented to us or when it presents itself to us is that the sure way to miss an opportunity is a sure way to missing success, meaning that the sure way to miss success is to miss the opportunity. Now, this particular opportunity has been given to us. Now, as human beings, we would normally respond in 3 ways in terms of an opportunity when it presents itself to us, when it gets presented to us. The first way to respond and react to that particular opportunity is we could grab it with both hands and utilize it. And when we grab that opportunity with both hands and we utilize it, we become the primary beneficiary of our decision to have decided to make full use of that opportunity. Now, note my words when I say that. We become beneficiaries to the decision. We become beneficiaries of our decision to have decided to make use of that particular opportunity. Meaning that when we grab the opportunity with both hands and we utilize it, we are not necessarily benefiting from the opportunity itself, but rather we are benefiting from our decision to use that opportunity. Meaning that most of the credit should go directly to ourselves for having made that decision to utilize that opportunity. Because that opportunity could have been presented to us, but we may have actually let that opportunity slip by, made that opportunity, we could have allowed it to slip us by, and not having utilized it, but we decided to utilize it. The second way of responding and reacting to these opportunities that get given to us, including this particular opportunity, including the many opportunities that get presented to you in your business space, is we could allow that opportunity to slip through our fingers. When we allow that opportunity to slip through our fingers, that opportunity goes to waste. Meaning that the opportunity would have been wasted on us. And that opportunity perhaps should have been given to somebody else who might have made full use of it. The third way of responding to these opportunities, we could allow the opportunity to pass us by. Remember, an opportunity moves. It never stops for nobody. Remember that an opportunity is a moment. It will never wait for us to be ready to utilize it. But it will need to find us already ready to utilize it. When it finds us not prepared, not equipped, not ready to utilize that opportunity, it will keep on moving. And in its path, one of our colleagues will grab it with both hands. They will pounce on it. And when they have pounced on it, they become a winner at our expense. But our colleague will not have intended to win at our expense, but we allowed them to do so. So when it comes to this opportunity that we have this morning together, I would want to hope that you will make the right decision for yourself, for your benefit. Now, I would like to say I will now connect to our slide presentation that I will speak to. As Google has already indicated, just almost halfway through our session of 3 hours, I will get us to break for about 15 minutes for you to grab a cup of coffee or for you to stretch a little bit. And that will be at about 10:15. And at 10:30, we will reconvene for another hour and 15 minutes up until 11:45, 11:45. And then for the remaining 15 minutes, we will have a brief interaction in terms of questions and answers. Now, you have your chat function on your MS Teams application. You could quickly type up your comment or your question, and I will respond to it. I will read it out quickly for the benefit of the others and respond to it very quickly. Now, let me connect to our presentation. Let me share the presentation. Connecting. Beautiful. There we go. On the slide that you have in front of you, our title slide for our session, you've got the title of our session. Today's topic is called Insights in Winning at Work, incorporating or including diversity and inclusion. Now, when we're talking about insights on winning at work, When we say somebody has got an insight into something, it means that you have got the capacity to understand the true nature of the thing. In this instance, we are talking about the true nature of winning at work. Is winning at work only about when we're getting promoted vertically with a pay increase that will go hand in hand with that upward promotion? I do not believe that. That is the only way of winning at work. And I will unpack it for our benefit in terms of the module for today, but also the modules that will constitute the totality of the program that we have on insights on winning at work. Now, that insights on winning at work, it would incorporate diversity and inclusion. And diversity and inclusion will also be part of the 6 modules. It will be one of the modules that I call Mastering Diversity for Your Own Success. It is for your own personal and professional fulfillment, effectiveness, and success. Let me give an example. How your mastery of yourself in terms of diversity inhibitions and diversity issues, that it will either render you a success or a miserable failure in terms of your deepest ambitions to win in the world of work, in your responsibilities as a leader in your organization. Let me give you an example. You will not be winning in today's and tomorrow's world of work if you are failing to grasp deeply and broadly the concept and the practice of diversity and inclusion. Let me give you an example. If you are known in the business as a technical giant, everybody knows that you are the absolute giant technically in the business. And they then look at you now being one of the leaders in your organization, in your division, but you report to the divisional head, and only to find that people look at you in terms of the application of your professional discipline. They look at you and they say, this particular lady, this particular gentleman is actually going to be, is probably at the moment, first in line to take over from the divisional head if the divisional head were to vacate their position of leading this particular division. And only to find that even though that they know that you are a technical giant, they have now come to know certain things about yourself. They may have come to know that you are actually deeply sexist, or they have come to know that you are deeply racist, or they've come to know that you're deeply tribalist. If somebody doesn't belong to your ethnic group, they count for naught to you. They don't stand a chance with you. Or those around you and those that you report to may have come to understand that you are deeply xenophobic. That if somebody is gay or lesbian, or if you are deeply homophobic, if they have come to know that if somebody is gay or lesbian or transsexual, they do not stand a chance with you. Or they come to know that you're deeply xenophobic, that if somebody is not a South African citizen, is not a South African national, they do not stand a chance with you. Now, the question that I will ask you is, why would then your organization take a decision that will place you in a position of leadership where you will be leading some of the individuals who happen to be members of the group or of the groups that you are so strongly and deeply prejudiced against? How are you going to lead them? How are you going to win with and through them? How are you going to get them to believe in your leadership? How are you going to get them to be willing, through their performance, through their ingenuity, how are you going to let them be willing to die for you in the battlefield of work? You may not be in a position to get the best out of them individually and collectively, and in the process, you fail yourself. Because as an organization, they will be making a terrible mistake if they were to promote you into that leadership position when they know fully well what kind of a person you are to others who are different to yourself. Now, most of the lessons that we will talk about this morning, that I will address you on, they come from that book. You have an image of the book, and you probably have been given a copy of that book. If you do not have it in your hand right now, Gugu and her colleagues will make sure that you get your copy. This is my second book, Winning and Winners at Work. The subtitle being Including Losers' Habits. Now, when you look at the decision of your organization, they reviewed that book. They reviewed all the chapters in the book, and they requested me to craft and develop some training modules out of the chapters of the book. And they then had selected some of the critical chapters and lessons that they believed would add immense value to ourselves and also immense value to the development of an environment that is inclusive and that is enabling, that is also allowing us to unleash the true potential of the individuals, individually and collectively, that we're responsible for leading. And I then put together the 6 modules, and today our 3-hour session is on the first module. I will give you on the next slide an overview of those modules and a little explanation briefly of each one of them. But when you look at some of the lessons and the modules and the chapters that I will address you on, you will discover that some of these particular modules and chapters and lessons, they even precede some of my academic training. They even precede some of my professional training, on-the-job training and development, because they even go right back to my background in my family. That is why I have a chapter in that book that I call Lessons from Home to Work. There are some lessons that my dear parents had taught us as their offspring. They had taught us those lessons and those principles that I find to be extra relevant to today's workplace. Let me tell you a little bit about my family, about my parents. I come from a very humble background, and I come from a large family, one of those large families. My parents, I respected them deeply, and I love them dearly. Humble folks from humble beginnings. My late father was a truck driver, and my mother, by the grace of God, she's still around with us. She was fundamental in terms of her impact on us, together with my late father. They taught us some principles. And some of those, let me touch on some of those that I touch on the chapter that I call Lessons from Home to Work. They taught us to respect other people. They said to us, in this world, if you want other people to respect you, you need to respect them, regardless of the station that they occupy in life, regardless of the position that they hold and occupy in their organization. You need to respect other human beings. For if you do not have any respect for them, if you do not show any respect for them, and I'm talking about genuine respect, you will discover that those individuals will find no good reason to want to have respect for you. Now, I've learned that when I lead the people that I have been leading in these organizations that I've been working with, starting all the way from the production department at Sasol, that when you respected the people that reported into you, the majority of them will turn around and respect you even more. And there's a reason for that. And the reason is simply because many people are not used to being respected by their bosses. So when you come across as that leader that has got genuine respect for the people that are junior to you, they find you a breath of fresh air. You become the kind of a leader that they will not want to let down, the one that they will be willing to die for in the battlefield of work. That's how that value had stuck with me, and I learned from experience in integrating that value in my professional attitude and my professional behavior towards the people that I worked with, and towards those that reported into me, and towards those that I reported into. Another value that my parents taught us, and they taught us humility. They taught us to humble ourselves. That if you fail to humble yourself in this world has got a tendency of humbling those that fail to humble themselves. That you do not want to be humbled, but you prefer to humble yourself. They taught us as well that do not look down upon other people. They taught us never to look down upon other people. Because they taught us that value and that principle in this manner, that the people that you look down upon when you're going up in the world may be the same people that you may meet when you're now going down in the world. Because they taught us that the world operates in a very funny fashion. But life also operates in a very funny fashion. That it works like a wheel. That tomorrow you may be up there, and today you may be up there, but tomorrow you may be down there. And you may be down there with the same people, or even below the same people that you had looked down upon when you are now ascending to the top. They also taught us self-discipline. That if you are lacking in self-discipline, then you would have to expect that somebody would have to step in order to discipline you. Because the whole issue of self-discipline is a whole issue of self-governance. If you're failing to govern yourself, you are inviting other people to come over and govern you. Now, when I looked at myself in the world of work, I then said, do I want to be disciplined by my superior? Or do I want to discipline myself so that my superior doesn't have to intervene and discipline me. And I chose to discipline myself. The last lesson that I will highlight to you and share with you what my parents taught us. They taught us that we should have no sense of entitlement, that the world doesn't owe us anything, that the least that the world could owe us is fair treatment. But the rest of what we want for ourselves, the rest of what we desire for ourselves, we better be willing to work and sweat for it. We better be willing to dig for it. Nothing comes easy. You've got to work for what you want. And all you would need is just a fair opportunity to apply yourself in a manner that would move you towards achieving your deepest of desires. Now, you know, good people, that when you are quite a few in the family, you will hear similar message from the same conveyors of that message, but some amongst us will have these bodily parts called ears, and we used those to take into our minds what we were being taught, and we learned life lessons from them. But you will understand that in the same group of siblings, you will have those that have the same bodily parts, but only to find that theirs were actually not functional. They didn't learn a lot. They did not take lessons from what we were being taught to a point where today some amongst us in the family, they are a problem to themselves, and they are a problem to others, and a problem to us, and a problem to their leaders. I feel sorry for some of their leaders because they will have to manage them, close supervise them. When they are lacking in self-discipline, they are lacking in understanding that you've got to apply yourself to the best of your ability and the best of your potential in order for you to prove how good and great you can become. And everybody in the workplace will need to prove themselves. All they need is that fair platform. Now, I was just painting to you just an example of some of the lessons, of one of the lessons in the book that you have. Now, let me just outline the 6 modules. The following are the modules that constitute the program on insights in winning at work, including diversity and inclusion. The first module, which is today's module, I call it winning at work in context. This particular one identifies and preempts a question. What does it mean to work, to win at work? What does it mean to work, to win at work? I did indicate earlier on, I do not believe that winning at work is only about getting vertically promoted. So I will unpack that particular concept in terms of what would it entail. And this is aimed at preventing us from unnecessary frustrations. When we do not see the vertical promotion coming to us in a period of about 7, 8, or 9 years. So when the vertical promotion doesn't come in 7 or 8 or 9 years, does it necessarily mean, therefore, that we are not good enough? we are not good at our work. I do not believe that, because it's only one or a few people that can actually get the vertical promotion at any one given time. But we need to look at the concept of winning at work in context and in practice. The second module, I call it fixing yourself for success. Now, when I say fixing yourself for success, I do not mean that you need to fix yourself because there is something broken about you. No, it has got nothing to do with us being broken. It's just like when you're taking your vehicle to your favorite mechanic or your favorite auto dealership for service. When you take your vehicle for service, you are not taking it for repairs. You take it for repairs when it's broken. When you're taking it for service, you realize that that particular vehicle is no longer driving in the manner that I know it is capable of driving. So when you are fixing yourself, you are eliminating from your worldview some of those insights, some of those attitudes, some of those behaviors, some of those philosophical underpinnings that may actually represent obstacles to you for your own effectiveness and for your own success. You eliminate them because they are standing in your way. So when you're fixing yourself, you are actually aiming at becoming a better version of yourself. I usually would say that I will ask this question: are you okay with yourself? And are you okay with others? And the reason I ask that question in the format that I am asking it, by starting with yourself, is because if you are not okay with yourself, chances are you may not be okay with others, and you end up blaming them for your own issues. Let me give a practical example. There are people in this world of work, and I hope and pray that that particular character is not amongst us. But they are present in the workplace and even some of your direct reports. But their behavior, their not okay behavior, ends up having an adverse effect on your team, ends up having an undesired and undesirable effect on the dynamics of your team. I call this particular character in the workplace. I wrote a poem about this person. I call that person, that the poem is in the book. I call that person and that poem the Hellraiser, meaning the one that raises hell in the workplace. Let me half tell the story of the Hellraiser and half recite that poem for you to appreciate what I'm talking about when I'm talking about why should people be willing and be motivated and be moved to want to fix themselves. The story of the Hellraiser goes as follows. The Hellraiser is a type of a person. They get up early in the morning at home. They go through that warm shower. And after the shower, they walk out the shower, and they go and stand in front of the mirror. And they check in the mirror if all was still well with them, and if all was still in its rightful place on their face and the surrounds. And they hop into a car that now seems to know its way to work so well. And as they are driving towards work, they say to themselves in the car, I'm on my way to work now. And when I get there, I will take them through hell. And indeed, they get to the workplace. They go straight for their targets. They get their work done and they take other people through hell. In the afternoon, they hop in the same car that had brought them to work in the morning. They go home and they get home and they get to go to sleep peacefully, like nothing had happened. When another child will not be able to sleep that night with tears in their eyes. You see, what the Hellraiser had done on that day, it was mere business. It was simple business. It was simple routine. They got their work done and they took other people through hell. That is the story of the Hellraiser. Now, if you are that type of a person, you need to look deep into yourself. You need to look deep into yourself in terms of, if you derive joy, pleasure, and satisfaction from the misery and the misfortune of another human being, you need to know that you are not okay with yourself. You need to know that you are not okay with yourself when you derive joy, pleasure, and satisfaction from the misery and the misfortune of another human being. And more importantly, you're not going to win with the people that you are too busy torturing instead of busy leading, busy inspiring, busy motivating, busy connecting with them at an emotional level and at a practical level and at a professional level. Now, the third module, I call it fixing the way you operate with others. Fixing the way that you operate with other people. Meaning that, how would you be able to can win with other people that you work with on a daily basis? Now, when you can develop a way of fixing the way that you operate with them, you are not doing them a favor, but you are doing yourself a very good favor, because that is the best way. When you fix the way you operate with them, that will be the best way for you to can win with and through them, including your direct reports, the people that report into you. How do you fix the way that you operate with them for them to be able to operate at the best of their abilities? Now, fixing the way that you operate with other people and fixing yourself are central to our own success. And when I'm talking about those two modules that deal with the way we could fix things, fix the way we operate and the way we operate with others and the way that we operate ourselves, fixing ourselves, you will realize that I've left out deliberately and purposefully the fixing of other people. I don't have a module that says fix other people, because you cannot change others. You cannot fix other people. You cannot change other people. People can best change themselves, but you can influence people to review their attitudes and their behavior to be winning kind of behaviors and attitudes in the world of work. The fourth module talks about mastering diversity for your own success. This is where I want you to put on your personal and your professional hats. It's about you, good people. It's about you. It's not about others. It's not about what the law says. It's about your success. When I say mastering diversity, I'm not talking about you understanding everything about everybody. I want all of us to relax. That there is no human being that can possibly understand everything about everybody. There is no one. Relax, just relax. What I mean by mastering diversity, I'm talking about you mastering this one, you mastering yourself, mastering your own diversity inhibitions, mastering your own diversity issues, mastering your own diversity prejudices. Remember, all of us, without exception, we are products of the environments that had influenced the development of our worldview. So none of us is perfect. But when I say mastering diversity, I'm talking about you developing a deeper level of self-insight and the ability to be adaptable to people who are different to you in terms of their personalities, in terms of their cultures, in terms of their work styles, and in terms of any form of diversity, what we call diversity dimension or diversity differential. But we will deal with those dynamics on Module 4. Module 5 is about winning habits and losing habits. We are going to unpack some of those winning habits and some of those losing habits. I even have a chapter in the book that I call The Direct Path to Professional Suicide. Yes, the direct path to professional suicide. I've got characters in that book, on that chapter, and I've given them titles. I've given them names. Like, for example, there is a character on that chapter that I call the divider in chief. Yes. The person joins your team, and I need to warn you as leaders. They join your team, and they come and they scan the environment. They scan the personalities. They scan the dynamics. They conclude, after the scanning, that this place is way too peaceful for my liking. This work environment is too polite, and it's too nice, and it's too understanding. And they start their divisive influences. They start forming some of these cliques that would have as their full-time job will be gossiping about their other colleagues. And then that results in the poisoning of your work team environment. And when the work environment has been poisoned, you will find that you have already compromised effective teamwork, collaboration, and the well-being of the team. The 6th module basically says success can be a matter of choice. That is when you have now developed a holistic way and a holistic perspective on what winning at work is all about. You then will come to the conclusion that, you know what, I can choose to be successful, and success shall come in my direction in its different forms. Good people, the book now, let me just, before I get into the depth of Module 1, the book that you have has been structured in a very simple way. It's been structured in a very basic way. The chapters are very short. They average, each one of the chapters would average about 4 pages. The chapters do not have to be read sequentially, meaning that you can pick any chapter of your choice at any given time. You read something, you learn something, and you close up the book, and you will revisit the book for another lesson. But also the main point of each one of these chapters has been captured or summarized in a text box on the first page of each one of these chapters. I've just summarized the gist of what the chapter is teaching you. And the book, I use very straightforward, practical language and real life examples. And the book is very clean in terms of its layout. It's very easy to the eye. Just to give you a classic example of how each one of these chapters would look like. This is the actual chapter 6 in the book, and I call it Why It Pays to Be Fair. You've got the chapter number, the chapter title, and underneath that, you've got the write-up where I unpack and explain the concept that I'm dealing with on that particular chapter. But also, you will find in that write-up the real-world examples. But also, you will find a text box that looks exactly like that shaded text box on your screen. That contained in that text box is the actual lesson on that chapter. That's what that chapter is teaching you, in essence. If you look at this particular chapter 6 of the book, that I call Why It Pays to Be Fair, I preempt this particular question. Why is it important for us as leaders to treat every member of our work team fairly, to treat every member of the human race fairly? But when we come to the workplace, why does it pay? Why is it a wise idea for us to treat people fairly? And I say that the reason I would be the number one supporter of the fair treatment of all individuals in the workplace is because I know something about good workers. And what I know about good workers is contained in that text box. Look at what I'm saying there. What I'm saying there is that good workers do not expect favors from their seniors. What they expect, rather, is fairness. Because these good workers, they know that if they wanted that success so much for themselves, they are willing to dig for it. They're willing to work for it. They're willing to earn it. And that which they had earned tends to carry more value to them. So when your direct reports ask you to simply treat them fairly, what they are merely asking you to do is, please, remove any artificial obstacles on their way so that they can perform to the best of their ability and the best of their potential, so that they can prove to you and to themselves how good and great they can become. That's all they're asking for. They are not asking for handouts, because these good workers, they are not used to handouts. They are not used to getting things for free. They are used to earning what they get. So give them what they expect and watch to see what they will give you in return. Good people, that is the kind of a tool that you have in your hand. Now, but also when you look at the book and the lessons and the chapters, it is also material for you as a leader to get into the depth of those lessons. And they will help and equip you to coach and mentor your direct reports. You will actually speak to them about what is in their best interest if they looked at their conduct and their attitude and their behavior, and you motivate them. Now, the first module, today's module, has got several topics that I want to highlight to you. At the core of winning at work is, when we understand a holistic and practical perspective, at the core of it is to improve our focus, to improve our application of our professional discipline, but also to improve our effectiveness with the people that we work with. So the first topic, we'll look at that. And that the second topic looks at the fact that in the workplace, you do not win alone. You win with and through other people. That topic, I call it work is team sport. So if work operates more like team sport, like cricket, rugby, soccer, netball, then we will have to play the game of work like a professional ball player plays the professional game in the context of team sport. Because in the real world of work, there is no such thing as a winning member of a losing team. If your team has won, you have also won. If your team has lost, you have lost as well. So we need to learn the ways of work that will deliver to us our desired outcomes, our desired consequences. Now, our desired results. The third topic will look at take good care of the precious stepping stone. Take good care of the precious stepping stone. And a stepping stone is that stone that gets planted for you to step on in order for you to get over to where you plan and desire to get at. So when I'm talking about a precious stepping stone, I'm talking about your current job position. If you want to win in the world of work, you don't start the race in sports. You do not start the race nearer to where you want to get to. You start the race where you are standing. Now you are standing on that precious stepping stone. How do you deal with that stepping stone if it's that important in getting you over to where you want to get at? Do you kick it away or do you take good care of it? I suggest you do the latter because it is the one that will help you to get to where you want to get to. The fourth topic that I will speak to today to you is that one that I call contribute more than you complain and criticize. Yes. Contribute more than you complain and criticize. This is a formula. This is a winning formula. Now, I want you to get me correctly here. I am not saying that people should never complain or criticize, because that may be warranted at times, but use the correct formula. Once you've complained and criticized, you've laid the issues on the table, then go back to a winning formula of contributing more than you complain and criticize. I will delve into that. It's vital. When you are now coaching your direct reports on this particular one, when you see that people are getting locked into this logic of complaining and criticizing, and then you need to remind them about a winning formula and say, look, I hear you, and these matters will be looked at, and if there's merit in them, there's some action or corrective action will be taken on them. But make sure that you don't lose that winning formula. The fifth topic is winning at work is not a zero-sum game. Zero-sum game, I will expand on it when we get to that point. The zero-sum game is, in order for you to win, you reckon that you've got to make or cause another person to lose that which you want to win. I want to caution you on that one. Now, let us look at the first topic, winning at work. Now, it is in the understanding of the concept that we then will be able to...
Hello?
Hello? All right, there was somebody speaking, but here's the point. It is in the correct understanding and appreciation of the concept of winning at work that we can then look at what are the winning work behaviors at a practical level. What is it that I can actually do in order for me to deliver the desired results for myself? And that is why I define the concept of winning work behaviors as follows. I say it is those sets of attitude and behavior that will produce desired results for the individual, that is you, for your work team, for your customers, and also for your organization. What do I mean by this definition? What I mean by it is that if you truly want to win in the world of work, you need to make sure that your application, over and above your excellent application of your technical, professional discipline, that you also will have the necessary, desirable, and effective attitude and behavior towards the people that you work with. Because we do not work alone like a scientist in a laboratory in the world of work, but we work and deal with other people. How do you then work with the people that you work with in your immediate team environment? Because if you work in that team environment, if you are the type of a person that is a source of negative energy in your team, you are not winning currently and you will not win further going forward. But if you're an effective team player, you stand to win better. But also in terms of the way that you relate to your customers, either internal or external customers. How do you treat your customers? When it is your customers, the customers of your employer organization, that pay your salary and benefits. How do you treat somebody who pays your salary and benefits? Do you treat them as though you're doing them a favor? I do not believe so. You need to implement practically in your interaction with your customers what I term flawless customer service. That you deliver the customer service in a flawless manner without any flaws. But even though you may still end up with an unhappy customer, but your duty is to make sure that you deliver your customer flawlessly. Because the customer may be unhappy because they wanted you to band, for example, the policy of your organization, and you know that professionally you are not, and ethically and morally, you're not allowed to band the policy. But also, if you want to win in the world of work, you need to make sure that your professional conduct and behavior and application of your discipline will help your employer organization to be a winning organization. Because in the nature of the employment relationship between yourself as an employee of your organization and your employer organization, the benefits of that relationship should be mutual. It's not only you and me that are supposed to benefit from the employment that we are enjoying with this particular organization, but our conduct and our application of discipline should also be benefiting or beneficial to our employer organization. That is how I define this concept of winning at work, but on a much more practical manner. What does it entail when I say winning at work? I have mentioned to you that it's not only about the vertical promotion. The vertical promotion is just but one of the ways. What else then does it entail? Number one, it entails you having a sense of personal fulfillment from a job well done. It makes you feel so good when you are good at your job. That is winning. That is about winning at work. If you are so good at your job, you even enjoy doing that work. The question then that we need to pose is, are you happy with the quality of the work that you are producing? Note how I ask this question. I am not asking the question, is your immediate superior happy with the quality of the work that you are producing? But I am asking you if you yourself are happy with the quality of the work that you are producing. Now the question is, why am I directing this particular question at you? It's because your work, we need to remember this, always remember this, your work carries your stamp on it, carries your name on it. And if you're a proud individual, you would not want work that is associated with your name and your person to be of shoddy or poor quality. But you would want to be associated with work that is of excellent quality. And you can learn to grow to be excellent. How can you do that in the workplace? You are surrounded by giants. And you need to encourage your direct reports that those who know more than others, those that are more experienced than, say, the latest recruits in our organization, you need to encourage them to school those. And the ones that are less experienced must be open to learning from those that have walked the path of experience. And you should never be ashamed of learning from those that have walked the path that you are trying to walk. Why would you be ashamed that you do not know some aspects of the job as yet? When you ask those that know what you should be knowing, that which you do not know as yet, why should you be ashamed? Remember one thing, that the people that you consider to be the technical giants or the leadership giants, they were never born knowing what they know today. They also had learned most of those from others who had walked the path before them. Of course, there are instances where you teach yourself, but you know what? You learn a lot from those around you. And my simple advice is how to get to learn from those around you that know what you don't know. You first strike up a very good relationship. And I've learned this. I learned it in chemicals production at Sasol. That when these technical giants that you were working with, those that knew what you didn't know as yet, when they realized that you were open to learning, when they realized that you were a very good person to relate to, they would actually go out of their way. And they will even tell me that, Stanley, we like teaching the youngsters that are open to learning. But we are not too keen to teach those that come in with a swollen head that they are so academically qualified and they behave as though they know it all. So strike up a good relationship and then slowly and gradually ask the people to teach you that which they know. If somebody refuses to teach you what they know, don't be discouraged. Ask the next person after you had struck up that good relationship. You will find that there are many good, decent human beings in the world of work that will open up to you and teach you what you need to know. And you will develop to be a giant. Now, when you're good at your work, you love doing it. And when you love doing it, then you become even better at it. And when you're better at your job, you become one of those winning individuals and one of those winning professionals. The second part of winning at work, when you are emotionally healthy, when you come to the workplace, and when you are at the workplace, you are winning. Sometimes I am inclined to believe that we underestimate the power of our emotional health on our physical health, linked to our own effectiveness. When we are emotionally stressed, when we go through toxic stress in the world of work, we will become physically unwell, physically unhealthy. We will start picking up these ailments that could have been avoided. Good people, I do not believe that any one of us would like to go on your retirement when you are already of poor health. You want to go on your retirement when you are still of good, decent health. There are people that come to me and they say to me, you know what, Stanley? Oh, I love my job. But oh, I hate my workplace. Listen to what the individual is saying. They love doing their work, but they hate deeply their workplace. When they say they hate their workplace, they are not referring to the buildings in your workspaces. They are not referring to the machines that you use to do your work with, but rather they are referring to the toxic relationships that they have with either their colleagues, with either their direct reports, or with their immediate superior. Now, there's a book that was written by one medical doctor, Dr. Lisa Rankin, medical doctor by training. She conducted this research and she ended up publishing her book. And her book ended up being the #1 bestseller on the New York Times bestseller list. The title of her book is Mind Over Medicine. Yes. Mind over medicine. She basically argues that if you take care of your emotions, you will be preventing the instances where you will be running towards getting medication in order for you to stay healthy. Good people, that emotional health, we could work on it and improve on it by working on our relationships with people that are different, that work with us. Now, the third part about winning at work is you having happy feelings. You're happy at work. You see somebody that comes to the workplace with a smile on their face. When they interact with their colleagues, they have a smile on their face. And they go home with a smile on their face. They're happy. That is winning. That results in your personal and emotional fulfillment. The workplace was not designed to be a killing field or a dying field. The workplace was designed to be your second home. Your second home because you spend more time at your workplace than you do spend time with your loved ones at home. So if you want to win with your happiness, with your feelings, with your emotions, and allowing you, enabling you to be at your best professional effectiveness, you better start working on those relationships. But also the fourth part is about recognition and reward. Recognition and reward may come in the form of a vertical promotion, but also recognition and reward may come in forms other than a recognition and reward promotion. As leaders of your teams, it is massively important for us to note that when you call one of your direct reports into your office and you offer them a chair and a cup of coffee and you ask them to sit down, and then you say to them, the reason I called you into my office this morning is because I want to thank you for a job well done on that project. For a job well done on that project. Or you call your entire team to thank them for the excellent job that they've done on the project. You know how good that makes one feel. When it comes from that person that you are in this primary relationship with, your immediate superior, it makes you feel so good about yourself because it says to you, you know what, my good work does not get unrecognized. And that makes you feeling a sense of achievement, a sense of accomplishment, a sense of winning. Good people, I said that we will break for a short tea break, a 15-minute tea break at 1:15. We've just gone 3 minutes over. What I would ask for us to do is to take our tea break. Let's take about 16 and a half minutes. We shall reconvene here at 25 minutes before 11. Thank you for now.